Milwaukee on a crisp December 1st morning. It is Tuesday, December 1st. And for those of you with kids, I hope you remember to put out your elf on the shelf. We're going through it for the first time this holiday season. And we placed Scout this morning, and it was a good idea. Our kids could use a little discipline and accountability. So hopefully Scout brings that into their lives. But happy December 1st to everybody. Hope everybody had a phenomenal Thanksgiving, healthy Thanksgiving with you and your families, and that you're able to enjoy some time off and embrace life. So let's get jumping right into it. Hey guys, reminder, I've seen a couple questions pop up on the Facebook group, and we've talked about this for a few weeks. But I wanted to remind the group, if your family is in open enrollment where you are really the sole provider in terms of health insurance benefits, Keller Williams does have a partnership with Stride Health, which is open enrollment is now through December 15th. So you have another 2 weeks to get this done. But if you're still looking for health insurance, you're still unsure of what to do within the marketplace, it's a great partnership with Keller Williams and Stride Health. You go to kw.stridehealth.com, and it's a really simple to easy use platform to understand and compare health insurance needs for you and your family, and to compare the plans to best choose what may best fit for you and your family. So if you're still looking for health insurance benefits, reminder, open enrollment is now open through December 15th. Check out kw.stridehealth.com for more information for benefits options. Cool. One other thing, I wanted to give everybody an update real quick. So on Thursday, November 19th in the North Shore, we had the opportunity to provide a private testing company to come in to do COVID-19 testing for agents and their families. We were fortunate. We had over 100 people come into the North Shore office, whether it was agents, families, kids, moms, dads, whoever it may be. We had over 100 people come in for testing in the North Shore, and it was what I believe to be a very efficient process, very safe. And we were very fortunate that our community that came in here for testing, of the 100 plus tests, we had 0 positive active tests within our community on Thursday, November 19th. So I thought it was really well done. Hopefully for those of you who came in, it gave you peace of mind heading into the Thanksgiving holiday. While it was a moment in time, hopefully you found it to be beneficial for you and yours. And please note, save the date, December 21st. We are going to be doing this again in the North Shore. In December 22nd, we are going to be doing this in Lake Country. So more news to come to register for that. But be on the lookout for December 21st in North Shore, December 22nd in Lake Country, to allow you and your families to come in for a very quick and easy private testing session for COVID-19 as you head in and plan your holiday season with you and your families. So be on the lookout there. But again, congrats to the 100 people who got tested. We had 0 positive tests on that run on November 19th. So congrats to everybody. Cool. All right, Lindsay, Tech Tuesdays. We're going back into our theme of the last couple of weeks of automation. So tell us what's going on with direct mail campaigns in Command.
All right, so today's tech training at 1 o'clock. I've done this before, but I really wanted to focus on how you can target your database or target a radius search to send out these direct mail campaigns within Command. So training today is going to walk you through how you can create that design, that postcard design in the Designs applet, and then how you can create that direct mail campaign. But I really wanted to highlight the 2 targeting options that you have. And this is a great opportunity if you want to farm your community. So if you have a group of contacts already in your database, or you want to, start farming a certain community, maybe the community that you live in, or certain communities that you want to just really target and hone in on, you can do that using this direct mail campaign applet within Command. So the very first option is you have local targeting. So if you want to send out a just sold or a just listed, you can easily plug in that property address and do that radius search. So if you want to send out 200 postcards to that surrounding area, you can do that. The great thing about this tool, and you'll see that on the screen here, is that you can actually draw a polygon. If you want to get even more specific with that radius search, you can even click on one of those blue dots or any of them, and you can deselect them. So if there's a few, kind of off in a corner there and you don't want to send out to those couple of addresses, you can get so specific to even remove those from sending out that direct mail postcard. The other option is you can target your database. So if you have a group of contacts and you have them tagged as farm or a certain zip code or a subdivision name, you can easily pull in that group of contacts and send out to that custom tag, those contacts with that tag monthly if you want to do that. And you can even pull in from the MLS tax information if you want to get super specific and you want to send out to that group of addresses every single month. You can export that list from MLS and import that into Command and tag them with whatever custom tag that you want to create. So you've got a lot of different options. And this is a great opportunity to farm a certain community or your neighborhood and do that consistently throughout the year. So that's what we are talking about during tech training. Again, 1 o'clock today, it will be recorded and uploaded to YouTube. And one final reminder, or my weekly reminder really, is eEdge sunsetting December 31st. So if you haven't already exported your contacts from that platform, imported them into Command, if you're utilizing those marketing campaigns in that platform, make sure that you're up to date and you have some knowledge on smart plans and email campaigns. Again, trainings are uploaded to the YouTube channel, but if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me.
Cool. Thanks, Lindsay. All right, Kimmy, what do we got this week for compliance updates?
All right, I want to go over the secondary offer scenario with you. This comes up every once in a while. And I just want to remind people of what kind of steps you need to take if your buyer is in a secondary position and they see another property and that they want to write on. So here's our scenario. Buyer has an accepted offer, let's say of today, December 1st. They indicated that they would not deliver notice of withdrawal earlier than 3 days after acceptance. So I've included a screenshot of the secondary offer language from the offer to purchase. So as you can see, line 352 states, the buyer may not deliver notice of withdrawal earlier than 3 days after acceptance. So let's say then the next day, buyers see a new property hit the market. They walk through this property, they love it, and they want to write an offer on this other property. Can they do that? What should you advise them as their agent? So if you want to hit the next slide, Charlie. So in this scenario, and this does happen often, buyer should absolutely not write an offer on the second property until they have formally withdrawn the offer on the first house. So, and in this case, the buyer can't withdraw their offer until December 5th. That was the 3 days after the acceptance. And withdrawing the offer is done by a WB-41 notice to the offer to purchase. It would simply state, buyer hereby withdraws their offer to purchase. So if they fail to do this, so if they haven't accepted a secondary offer and then they decide, okay, you know what, I'm going to write an offer on this other house and I'll just kind of wait and see if I get an accepted offer, you're putting your buyer in a position where they could potentially have an accepted offer on 2 properties and they are contractually obligated to purchase 2 properties. Obviously not a great position to be in. So you have to withdraw the first offer first before they can write on the second offer. So what are some of the buyer's options if they don't want to wait? Obviously in this market, very tight, people want to move quickly. So if the buyer has maybe a longer period of time where they can't withdraw their offer from the first property, you could approach the listing agent of that property and say, hey, buyers want out. We recognize that, we said we would stay in secondary until Saturday, but they want to cancel their secondary offer now. So you could deliver a camera to the sellers and try to negotiate with the sellers on releasing the buyers from that secondary offer position. And then if that doesn't work, or if the buyers are still adamant that they want to write on that second property, you just need to advise them that they need to speak to an attorney to understand what legal ramifications that could cause. CAMR. So sorry, CAMR is a cancellation agreement and mutual release. So short for CAMR. So that's a document that both buyer and seller would sign that basically releases both parties' legal obligations to the contract. So terminates the deal.
Hey, Kimmy,
Yeah.
quick question on this. So if they have a accepted secondary offer and the sellers boot the primary offer, those buyers are automatically bumped into primary, right? It's not one of those things where it goes back to the buyer to like re-accept to
Well, the
become
seller,
primary.
as soon as the seller gives the buyer notice that they have been made primary, it's done. Their offer
Okay.
is made primary. So yeah, the buyer, it doesn't go back to the buyer and say, okay, let me decide if I now still want to be primary, still want this house. It's automatic. So that's why you don't want to put your buyer in that position where they've got an accepted offer on a second house while they're in secondary position, because you never know when that notice is going to come, that they've now been made primary. Great question. Awesome. So I just wanted to bring that scenario to your attention because that's come up a bit in the last couple months. All right, my weekly reminders, GMAR dues. Unfortunately, if you haven't paid those yet, you need to add $50 to your invoice. So between now and December 31st, you have to add $50 to your invoice. It's kind of like a late fee, if you will. But be sure you pay before December 31st, because if you wait until after that, you'll have to add $225. So these dues allow you to have access to the to MLS, to all of the resources at the WRA, at the GMAR. So, and our firm, it's a requirement that you pay dues in order to practice real estate. And then our weekly reminder of continuing ed. You have 13 days left to finish your CE. And this applies for all agents unless you received your license after October 1st. So 13 days left. And then remember, once you do your CE, it's not automatically renewing your license. You must go to the DSPS website to renew your license. So go to dsps.wi.gov, click on self-service, and then there's a link to renew license online. So make sure you do this in the next 2 weeks.
So guys, again, we're going to do a little Alex Trebek style Jeopardy this morning. Kimmy, we have 300 agents across the North Shore and Lake Country. Let's see. Who can guess how many people across the 2 locations have completed their continuing education so far in 2020? Amanda Hasse coming in with 156. Alex Chu, come on. Who do we got? What do we got? Here we go. You want to know the number? Here is the number. We have 80 people who have completed their continuing education and renewed their license with DSPS. What does that mean? It means only 25% of our associates have completed it. And Kimmy, when does this need to be completed?
December 14th, 13 days.
13 days. Guys, don't be the one who's doing continuing ed on December 14th. 40, essentially 80 people out of 300 have done this. You have 2 weeks to get this done. Make sure you jump on it now. The other thing is don't be the person who pays the $225 in additional to GMAR. Make sure you get GMAR completed as well before December 31st. Cool. Kimmy, thanks for the update. All right, guys. One other thing real quick, because last week we talked about this, but I want to make sure we've been getting more and more notices from Scott Bush at GMAR. And reminder, when we send you a notice in terms of any sort of advertising violations, Kimmy and I are using it as an opportunity to educate you on what's going on. So remember, heading into February of 2021, the GMAR is instituting a fine structure as it relates to clear and conspicuous broker confiliation per state law, right? A lot of these things are the most problematic issues that have been coming up on social media. And again, for 95% of our associates, it's not that much of a problem. You guys don't have a problem with it, but where they're getting people and where we're noticing trends in terms of where Scott's trying to educate us before the fine structure comes into advance is when people are posting open houses or when people are posting new listings into this various buy sell groups across like buy sell North Shore or buy sell West Bend or buy sell Kenosha, and agents on their personal pages are sharing open houses or they're sharing new listings. And that's what the GMAR is cracking down on. So as a reminder, all you have to do is make sure that your brokerage affiliation with KW is clear and conspicuous per state law. And we're really trying to utilize this time, Kimmy and I, to utilize it, and Steph and Diana, to educate you in advance of fines coming up in February 1 of 2021. And I will tell you this, I can almost guarantee it. I'll bet someone $100 that the first person who gets fined at KW comes back to Kimmy and I and says, man, how come I didn't know about this? Don't be that person. I'll make the $100 to a charity of your choice if you're that person, but don't be that person. So just make sure you have clear and conspicuous brokerage affiliation. And then as a reminder, National Association of Realtors updated their code of ethics. Again, we're held to a higher standard, guys. We talked about this a couple weeks ago, but include, the new standards really prohibits from discriminatory conversations on social media, any sort of platform. And I totally believe that in this, and 100% agree with the language that's being added to the code of ethics, that realtors must not use harassing speech, hate speech, slurs against members of those protected classes. Guys, make sure that we're doing the right thing and that we're representing our profession in the most utmost manner. So just as a reminder on that stuff. Cool. All right. Now I want to go into a conversation on wealth building, right? And I want to pose to you guys some questions, right? And I want you to think about something, okay? What's the most profitable business model a real estate agent can run? Throw it out in the chat section for me. We'll keep the Alex Trebek style Jeopardy going. What's the most profitable business model in terms of margin that a real estate agent can run? Any guesses? Bueller? The most profitable business model? Think of it like this. It's repeat and referrals. Why? Because the only thing you had to invest in is your reputation and your brand, right? The most profitable business model, the only thing you're investing in is your reputation and brand, which is what ultimately leads to repeat and referral. You're not spending money in various other ways to get people to work with you. They're working with you because they love you, trust you, and respect you, right? So let's jump into a conversation, right? And you're doing it via the relationships that you have. So get this. Think about it like this. What was your first job? For me, at 10 years old, I was a caddy at Milwaukee Country Club. Got paid $25 for 4 hours of carrying somebody's bag around a golf course. Did that for 5 years. That was my first job, right? How old were you? For me, I was 10 years old, right? Now I want to ask you a question. Social Security. How long have you paid in? What's the expected return and will it grow? And here's a real question for you. For those of you, like for myself, who's in my 30s, do I expect it to be there in the future? I don't know. But I can tell you this, I don't expect to get back what I've paid in, nor do I expect more than what I've paid in. I can tell you that based on the way the thing's trending, right? So I want to pose to you a question as it relates to savings and wealth building, right? And I want you to think about retirement and passive income streams that'll allow you to receive benefit or income once you're done working or selling homes, right? So if you put money into a savings account, on average, the national average for a savings account right now is less than a 1% return, but let's just say you have an aggressive savings account and you get 1% returns, right? You'd have to invest 2.5 million, which you would never do, but if you do, you'd have 2.5 million in a savings account. And if you made 1% on that money, you'd make 25,000. If you had $1 million in a savings account, you'd make about $10,000 a year. And if you had $200,000 in a savings account with a 1% return, you'd make $2,000 a year. Okay. All right. Perspective here. Now let's jump into another conversation around the S&P 500, right? This is the top 500 performing stocks within the stock market, right? Since inception in 1928, the average rate of return has been 10%, right? So going back over almost 100 years, right? Since they've been tracking the S&P 500, the average rate of return in the stock market is 10%. Right? So now let's take a look at this. At the same investment levels, if you invested 2.5 million, you'd have to invest 2.5 million with an average rate of return annually at 10% to make 250K. You'd have to invest $1 million to make 100K at a 10% annual return, and you'd have to invest 200K to make 20,000. Now, for some of you, 2.5 million may sound like a big number, or 200,000 may even seem like a big number to have that money in the stock market. So let's just take a look at the smaller numbers, right? If you had 250K, you'd make 25K. If you had 100K in the stock market at a 10% annual average return, you'd make 10K. 20K, you'd make 2,000, right? And so one of the questions I'd like to pose to you is, what is the passive income or the return that you need to make in order to retire successfully, right? What is the lifestyle that you'd like to live? Do you want to maintain your lifestyle? What does that look like for you in order to see a return, in order to fund the perfect life for you once you're done selling homes, right? That's the major question here. So think about that in terms of as it relates to your passive income in retirement. So now, but what if I offered you an opportunity where you don't have to have monetary capital, right? You don't have to have 2.5 million in the stock market to make 250K. You don't have to have all this upfront capital to see 10% returns, right? And how do you create passive income? You invest in human capital, right? Understand the concept. Invest in human capital. How does it work? You do it through profit share in Keller Williams profit sharing opportunity. So here's where I'm getting at, right, guys? You do it through your relationships. Get this, in Milwaukee, since Keller Williams has come to Milwaukee, this is just the local level. This isn't even a national level. You can see KW has been in Milwaukee since 2015. In the first year, we profit shared over $100,000 to the associates. You can see the leaps in growth in terms of the profit share that's been paid out. And in 2020, we're projecting to pay out just under $1 million in 1 year annually. And you can see from 2019, that was a 22% growth. You can see the growth rates here over time, over the last 5-6 years, have been incredible growth rates, all as a passive income opportunity to all of our associates in Milwaukee, right? And what does it look like? Here's the deal, right? If you want to just simply think about it like this, if I just want to make $10,000 a year in passive income and I put nothing into it other than time, energy, and resources, and oh, by the way, a great reputation of what I have, a capper in your first line is worth $2,500. A half capper, someone who does about 1.8 million in production, is worth about $1,200 a year annually, right? And someone who joins a team who's on a team cap is worth about $840 a year. So if you think about it, you only need 4 people in your downline to make about $10,000 a year passively. And as you can see, based on the growth rates year over year across Milwaukee, the profit share opportunity is only growing. And it's growing significant clips off of a really large basis, right? You can see here also as well, profit share is, we've discussed this a little bit, grows and pays out on a 7-level basis, right? So when you come in, you name a sponsor, your sponsor receives 50% of the profit that's attributed to it. And right now it's roughly about $2,500 as a capper and $1,200 as a capper. But it's something to consider, right? And last month we celebrated a handful of people who have reached the 100% club. And what that means is people who are paid more through profit share than what they pay in their cap on an annual basis. And we celebrated a bunch of people who have achieved the 50% status. And John Molitor, credit to you. You posed a question that got a ton of feedback. And it was, hey, I know a ton of people are making really good money in this profit share game. How does it work, right? And so what I wanted to do is, my goal as a leader is always to get you to think differently around topics, around wealth, around passive income. And it's also to provide you opportunities to learn, like John Molitor's question is how are people earning this and what are the conversations and how does it even begin, right? So we're super stoked, all right? We're super stoked to have the Profit Share panel coming at you live Wednesday, tomorrow, December 2nd at 10 a.m. We have a bunch of people who are in the 100% Club: Jay Schmidt, Willie Stale, Jonathan Newby. I think Janine Warner is going to jump on, and they're going to give and tell their story through profit share, right? How did they approach it? What does it look like? How did they earn the opportunity to make more in profit share than what they've made or than what they've paid annually in their cap? And guys, guess what? Some of these people had just started doing it, only paying attention to it about a year or two within being, at KW. So it's not like they had to be here from day one. It's a really incredible passive income opportunity. And guess what? They invested nothing in upfront capital to see those kinds of returns. All they invested was their time, energy, and reputation. It's a phenomenal opportunity. So I would share with you, and I would urge you, if you're interested in learning more about the profit share opportunity and learning more about how you can earn passive income without any capital up front, join us on the profit share panel tomorrow morning with some incredible people who are very gifted in this opportunity with the profit share panel tomorrow at 10 a.m. So be on the lookout. Again, I'll send out the slides as it relates to how do you quantify what the passive income opportunity is so that you can take advantage of it. And if you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to myself, Diana, Mandy. We'd be happy to help you walk through or even create a plan for you to help earn some of the profit sharing opportunity. December is a phenomenal time of year to take advantage of the profit sharing opportunity. Cool. All right, jumping into it. Market insights and weekly insights, right? So what's the market telling us? And here's I'm coming at you with a cautionary word or a cautionary tale, right? So let's get into it. So let's take a look. These are the showing time impact. Again, showing time requests in the state of Wisconsin. Again, state of Wisconsin, and you can see a major dip last week, again, because of the holidays. And it follows the trend of what we saw. The blue line here for perspective is in 2019, right? On average, it's still 25%. There were still 25% more showings last week this year than there were the same week in 2019. Again, still very healthy buyer activity. And this trend, as you can see, is following the historical perspective trends of where 2019 was. So again, for me, not concerning, and a plus 25%, really, really healthy. But it's also telling me we're now starting to feel the impacts of what historically the winter time starts to show up, right? That once Thanksgiving really starts to show up, we really start to begin to see a dip in buyer activity and as well as new listings come into the marketplace, which we'll talk about in a second. Cool. For perspective, just so people weren't freaking out, one of the things that I did want to share with you is the North American trends. So this is trends across all of North America. You can see here, North American trends are following very similar patterns as we saw here in the state of Wisconsin. The real kind of bright side or benefit is in North America, they're seeing a plus 17% trend this year versus last year. In Wisconsin's really kind of ahead of the pace, up 25%. So my point being in these two slides and showing you these two things is not really a cause for concern. And the good news is because it's following the national trends as well as historical trends. And the good news is Wisconsin's outpacing the industry in terms of buyer activity within the marketplace. So good news there. Here, as it relates, I'm going to lead with sales absorption this week. And the reason I'm doing it, again, sales absorption is the percentage of inventory that goes under contract within a given week. Total percentage of inventory that goes under contract in a given week. And it's simply an indication of demand. Here's where what I'd like to tell you. In the last 4 weeks, it was 8.3% of the inventory went under contract. To me, if you look at the trends and you take out the week of Thanksgiving, which is always, holiday weeks are always going to show up as a blip on the radar. If you look at the historical trends really across September, October, November, sales absorption still remains really, really high, which to me, again, buyer activity up 25% this year versus last year. And again, sales absorption remains really pretty much a pretty steady rate. Again, buyer demand still remains really, really strong within the marketplace. Here's the units under contract. Again, for last week, there were 352 units that went under contract. Again, a blip in the radar because of the holiday week, which is totally normal, not surprising. But you can see, units under contract, we're now really starting to see where the winter months are starting to have an impact on our industry, right? You can go back to September, and in September, we were averaging around 600 units that would go under contract within a given week. October was right around 550, and now you're starting to see us hover around the 490 to 500 mark, right? So we're starting to see the market begin to slow down as we head into the winter months. Right? So the last 4 weeks, we had 1,800 units that went under contract. For historical perspective, it was still 14% greater than what we saw in November of 19 and 22% greater than what we saw in November of 18. So again, it's following historical trends in terms of the slowdown in activity, and yet it's still very, very positive in terms of the growth rates versus the prior 2 years. Here's my, my concern though, again, as we've kind of talked about, this is new units that have come to the marketplace, right? And we really are starting to see the fall off. And again, here's Thanksgiving week, 246 new units that came to the marketplace. It's about 50% about where we had been trending. This, I truly believe, is where it'll start to catch up with us in terms of the units that are going under contract, simply because now people are starting to delay their decisions until after the first of the year, right? And so as we start to see that, this is where my cautionary tale to our group is, now we're going to start to see what December feels like. In January, we'll start to feel like that, historically, if we looked at October, November, I made this statement in July or August that this was going to be the best fall we've ever seen. And that has really held true. What I'd say is December will still be really good, but you got to remember the perspective of it's really going to start to slow down. So plan for that financially, plan for that for your family, and plan for that in terms of the activities you're doing to start begin to build your business for the first quarter. Because as these new inventory units continue to trend the way that they are, it's going to have an impact on us in December and January. So plan ahead financially. That's my cautionary tale. Right. And then here's the expired units on the marketplace. Here, the good news is this is significantly lower than what we typically see at this time of year. So again, inventory remains moving through the system at a very effective pace. And then looking into it, one final thing, and I did these a little bit different this week just to give you, again, to challenge your thinking and to challenge your thoughts. But here is total inventory by week. You can see, again, as I talked about, my cautionary tale is, inventory has been kind of the theme of these for the last 6 to 9 months. But now we're really going to start to feel the impact of it now that we're dipping below 5,000 units on the marketplace. And so that, again, my cautionary tale is guys, prepare December and January, prepare financially for the market to really, really come to a slowdown that we hadn't really felt yet in 2020. Outside of what happened in March, April, May. So just be prepared. Nothing that we didn't know it was coming, but it's just giving you the heads up now that we sit here on December 1st of what the market is telling us. And you can see here I pulled a historical 2-year trend. This is total inventory in the marketplace across all the varying months going back to November of 2018. And then again, you can see here on average, the market carries about 8,500 units on a 2-year rolling average. There's roughly 8,500 units for sale on the last 2 years, right? When I compare it to November of last year, the inventory is down almost 30%. When I compare it to November of 2018, inventory is down 30%. So again, cautionary tale is just be ready for December and January as things start to slow down. The buyer activity remains really, really strong. That's really positive. But again, unless there is inventory for people to buy, you're going to start to see some of those closings really, really begin to slow down. So just be prepared for that. Cool. My grocery store script of the week doesn't really change. So much of it is true from what we shared 2-3 weeks ago. And so this is the time of the year that we typically begin to see a slowdown of activity. Yet 2020 has been an abnormal year. Buyer activity remains strong. What does it mean for me? Here's the one question a lot of people start to get this time of year is, hey, when's a good time to list my home? What's the answer to that? Now is the best time, right? Now is the best time. Remember, time is money and time is not your friend. And it's always a good time to put your home on the marketplace. So it's a very powerful time to get listings. But as I jump into that, one thing to look ahead on is dun, 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 the spring listing extravaganza is coming back in 2021. So the proof is in the numbers. Here's a little 1-page sell sheet we threw together for you guys to talk through the spring listing extravaganza. And for those of you who haven't been through it before, here's what the spring listing extravaganza is. It is simply a push that we do internally to help you guys go get listings and create a sense of urgency with sellers who are going to be selling in early 2021. Why do we do it? Here's what I know. Here's what the numbers tell us. Historically at Keller Williams, we take on listings taken, we take about 15 to 20% of our total listings taken in January, February, and March, right? The market average for that period is 12%. So what we're doing is we're creating a sense of urgency. We're helping sellers bring their listings to the market sooner than they may have otherwise would have, right? What's the benefit to the seller? The benefit is inventory still remains so low in January and February, and we know that buyer demand remains ridiculously strong. It's a phenomenal opportunity to maximize the return on your investment. And why should they work with you as a KW agent? Here is the proof is in the numbers, right? The KW median sales price across Milwaukee is $344,000. Right now, the Milwaukee Metro MLS market average is up this year, interestingly enough, to 275, yet KW sells homes that are 25% higher than the market average, right? When we look at days on market, KW's days on market is 32 days. The market average is 46 days. KW agents sell homes 43% faster than the market average. And again, guys, for those of you who track your own numbers, or if you have a big team or you have a big book of business, feel free to edit this, leveraging the market stats to tell your personal story. The last one, this is a new stat that we pulled this year I thought was really interesting. It's a list to close ratio. So what does that mean? It means on average within the marketplace, for every listing that comes to the market, 64% of those listings end up at the closing table, right? So what does that mean? It means roughly 45% of the market average of those listings end up expired. At KW, we have 71% list to close ratio. What does that mean? 10% more of our inventory makes it to the closing table versus the market average. These are three phenomenal stats to leverage and utilize in your listing presentations as we head into the spring listing extravaganza. And as a reminder, it's January 28th to the 31st. Why do we do it? It's the weekend before Super Bowl. There's nothing going on that weekend. It's a phenomenal time to launch new listings and get ahead of the curve for your sellers to maximize the return on their investment. The spring listing extravaganza is a phenomenal way to leverage a sense of urgency for your sellers. So be on the lookout for this in our weekly recap that we send out this afternoon. Cool. All right, Mandy, I'm having you turn it over to you to bring us home. What do we got?
All right. So yesterday, oh wait, what is this? Oh yeah, sorry, threw off there. We have a really great opportunity to do a business planning clinic. So with things slowing down right now, it's the best time to spend more time investing in your business and working on your business. So usually this is something that you have to travel for, you have to fly for, and we're bringing it to you, the region's bringing it to you virtually for free, a 2-day national business planning clinic. So if you look at who is teaching this class, we have some huge people. Gary and Jay are kicking it off. We have Cody Gibson. People are going to go through all of the models of Keller Williams. So we're talking to Todd Butzer. It's a must go-to event if you have the time to do this. It starts next week on Monday, December 7th, and it's also on Tuesday, December 8th, and it's from noon to 4, and it's free. So you just go on to Connect Live, and it's going to be live streaming there. We'll send out the link too. They already have gotten us the materials for the business planning clinic, so you can look through it. If you don't have time, I'd at least suggest pulling the materials and kind of walking through it yourself. But it's a fantastic opportunity to take the time to work on your business starting next week, Monday and Tuesday from noon to 4. So check that out for sure next week.
And guys, one thing I will just chime in here is, even if you only have an hour or you have 2 hours that you want to jump in here and you want to learn about the lead generation model or you want to learn about the budget model, it's a phenomenal opportunity for you to just kind of plug in and plug out as you will and think of things around how do I want to set up my 1-3-5 for my business in 2021, led by some incredible KW instructors. So check it out.
Yep. And if you don't have time to do that, we do have 2 other similar opportunities broken out that are more local. So this Friday at 10 a.m., Charlie and Maureen are going to be leading their annual business planning clinic. So we will send out a registration for that. We're asking that you please sign up ahead of time so that we can get you your materials. So we'll include that in the recap email that goes out. And then the second part of that is Todd Butzer, who is teaching in that regional one. We have him coming to speak with just our group on Wednesday, the 16th, also at 10 a.m. to go through the financial side. So if you only have 2 hours instead of 8 hours, make sure to plan for this Friday at 10 a.m. and then Wednesday, the 16th, to go over the financials. So a lot of really great things happening in December to definitely start time blocking for. With the a little bit of a slowdown, you have the time now to kind of focus on what you're going to be doing for 2021. So like Charlie mentioned, tomorrow, 10 a.m., we have that profit share panel. Every Thursday, Jen is going to be leading the transition for Commissions in Command. So pop into any one of those or check out the recording on the YouTube channel. They're all the same. So if you've already been to one, you're probably good there, but make sure to check that out so you're ready for that transition. And then we have a few Tech Tuesdays lined up, as well as the COVID testings on the 21st and the 22nd. So yeah, that's what our December looks like.
Cool. Guys, I will one last plug, right? Maureen and I are doing the business planning clinic on Friday. Great way to help you understand how do I set my plan for 2021 and look at my business in new ways around average commission, breakdown of my numbers. Really quick and easy, down and dirty look at your personal business to help you set a course for 2021. The other thing I will tell you, if there is one must not miss class in the month of December, it is Wednesday the 16th, Agent Financials with Todd. He's going to teach you why should you be paying yourself through an LLC? How do you skirt the self-employment tax? How do you set up a chart of accounts to help me manage my expenses and also manage my write-offs in this business? I've been to his class before. I know many people at KW have gone to his Agent Financials class, and many people come away saying it is the one must not miss class of the year to help you better understand your agent financials. So awesome job, Mandy. Thank you for putting together an incredible December training calendar.
Hey, Charlie.
Yeah.
Can I just give a little quick breakdown on the difference between all three of those, if you can put that back up?
Yeah.
Friday, the one that Charlie and I are doing is literally going to dive into your personal financials with regards to your business, your average sale price, your personal numbers, so you can actually effectively plan for your business in 2021. Monday and Tuesday is really looking at the big picture of how to run a real estate business, right? All the different models and all the different ways with experts in each category. So that's really a big picture overview of how to run your business. It's not a planning for 2021. And Todd Butzer's is actually the financial piece of it, how to run your LLC, how to pay yourself, how to save on taxes. So all three of them are quite different. So don't choose one over the other because they're very, very different. Just pick, if you need to pick one, you pick the one that's going to get you through 2021 at the highest level. But I just thought it would be good for you guys to know really what is the difference between all three of these classes. And December is a slower time period, so why not take advantage of it now? That's all I got.
Cool. Thank you. Well, guys, it's a beautiful Tuesday, December 1st. I will keep you posted on Scout the Elf in terms of how it goes and keeping our kids accountable. And if you haven't put Elf on the Shelf out or you're participating in Elf, I'd love to hear your stories. You can help fill me in on what we should be doing and shouldn't be doing. But guys, I hope you have a phenomenal day. Enjoy your time with your families. And if you need any help, feel free to reach out to us. Lake Country Crew will let you jump off for your Lake Country meetup. North Shore Crew, give me about a minute or two and I will convert over to new listing and buyer needs. Have a great day, guys.